Okay, so this is my Part B analysis for the PDHPE Movement and Skill and Composition Assessment task. For this task, I worked in a group together with Grace Facer, Jewel Bacolod, Pimdet Sukta, Alex Alag, Casey Ladinas, and Nigel Santos to perform a hip-hop dance routine to the song Somebody to Love. We based our dance around choreography by Johnny Ray Lim. 4 movement phases that were included in the dance are the back step, the chest bump, the slide, and the wave. The back step can be identified as the second move in the dance sequence. The phase begins at point 33 of the video with the right arm crossed over the body and the left foot extended out towards the left. The right arm is then brought back over the body and pushed quite powerfully towards the ground. As the right arm is in motion, the left foot is moved behind the body, kind of pushed further right than the right leg, and hits the ground behind the body at the same time that the right arm stops motion. This phase influences the dance routine because it sets up the body for the next dance step by placing the right leg in the correct position rather than having to rush around in a half beat to be ready for the next part. A chest bump is viewed at point 46 of the clip. The dancers were in an upright position when the right hand was brought from the left hip over the head and back down again. As the right arm was being brought down, the dancers would crouch down and then jump up, spreading the ankles further apart as they landed. As the dancers springed up and landed, they would bring their right arm back up to their chest and bump their chest in the fashion of imitating a beating heart. This move influences the dance routine because the bringing of the right arm up to the chest makes the transition to the next step much smoother. The slide is at the end of the canon section of the dance routine. Canon is when some of the members of the dance freeze into a position and stay like so while others keep moving. And then as the members that are still moving, they'll continue on with choreography and then morph into the position that those members that were stopped were in. Then the dancers that were frozen will pick up steps from there and the dance continues on like normal. This slide can be observed at point 103. This move is distinguished as all the dancers slide their left leg away from the camera lens, followed by the right leg in the same direction. The arms are pushed up and out to the sides while dancers in the clip are sliding. This move enhances our dance performance by making more use of the performance space that we had for use instead of staying in one spot for the entire duration of the dance. A wave is performed by the dancers at point 121. We morphed into a straight line facing the camera in height order and one by one raised our arms over our heads and brought them back to our sides in a circular motion. This dance move created an interaction between the dancers because it made us all work together to create a wave effect. One person led the move and the others followed the person in front of them, making sure to raise their arms at the correct time to create a kind of flow between all the dancers. This step influenced the performance by making the transition into one line a fair bit smoother, rather than us all just standing there for more beats or repeating slides out and in back again like we had a few previous times. Many elements of composition were used in our routine. Space is how the body moves. From the space category, levels were used. Levels are the height at which a movement is performed. Levels are evident in the dance at 1 minute and 9 seconds, when the dancers alternate in bobbing up and down to the beat of the music. Direction is the place in which the body moves to. For the majority of the dance, all dancers are generally in the same spot. However, towards the end of the dance, all us dancers move together to form a line and then separate again only to form a V shape facing the camera. From the time category, the rhythm of the music had a constant beat to it. Rhythm is the pattern of the beat. The tempo is the speed of the music. Generally, the tempo was an average to fast speed and at times was quite hard to keep up with. For example, at point 108, when we had to make a 180 spin in one beat rather than 2 beats like most of the other moves. Personally, I lost my balance and nearly fell over and ruined the whole dance. All moves were phrased to match in with the rhythm and melody of the song. Some of the moves had even been created to match the lyrics of the song, as well as rhythm and melody. Dynamics is how the body moves. From the dynamics character, force and weight is seen. Force and weight is the strength of each movement. The force of the movements of the dance are pretty much always quite heavy. However, there are some movements when they are quite light, such as at point 59 during the cannon when Jewel, Nigel and Grace are spinning their arm in a circular motion. The quality of each movement is whether they float or not. The majority of the movement in our dance flew into each other, yet there are the odd moves which are a bit jerky and had a bit of a stop-start kind of feel to them. Duration is the length needed to complete each move. On average, each move took about 2 beats to complete properly. However, there are some fast areas in which steps are completed at a faster pace. The relationship is who the dancer moves with. The grouping of the dance was as individual dancers, but moving as a group at the same time. Individual relationships were shown when hands made contact with other areas of the body, such as the chest when we chest bumped or when our hands rested on our hips. Areas that we could have improved on included performance space, quality of the movement, and force/weight. The performance space we had to work with was very cramped. All of the furniture had to be rearranged for us to fit into the frame of the camera, and the area that we had to place the camera was very inconvenient, because in order to fit us all in the image, it had to be up very high. Also, the lack of space restricted many of our movements, which could have been much bigger and more extravagant. Unfortunately, the lack of space made it hard to fit people into the frame when it came to creating our V shape at the ends of the routine. The quality of the movement was quite average. Many moves were half completed and looked quite sloppy, especially when other members of the dance had learned them more thoroughly. This is evidence when you can see that some people bob down further, move faster and more smoothly, and it is even furthermore clear that some people aren't pausing in the correct positions, or are just ending a move and moving on to the next one just a bit too quickly. Force and weight was also an issue that could have been improved on. Some members of the dance group had much more strength behind their moves than others, making the less strong dancers made their moves look a lot more unlearned and almost as if they were cutting corners just to try to complete them. But all in all, putting into consideration that some of the people in the routine had never danced a step before in their lives, as well as the fact that we learnt the dance from scratch in just over a fortnight, we did a relatively good job at portraying the dance routine. If we had had an extra week of practice time, I believe that some aspects would have been greatly improved, but it's the fact that we all tried our hardest not to let anyone down and that we had fun learning it that counts.